This episode of The Breakfast Dish is brought to you by the Calgary Foundation, proudly supporting community needs for 65 years.
When I'm 65.
Everyone wants to feel a sense of belonging. Now, more than ever, we are united by a desire to take action and help others by creating a community built on kindness and compassion. This is a very good ad for our podcast.
Calgary Foundation is all about kindness. Why? Because did they sponsor this podcast in the beginning?
The first baby steps of The Breakfast Dish?
Yeah, with a little grant. What else about grants from Calgary Foundation?
Well, I'll tell you, from small creative projects to larger citizen-led initiatives, the Calgary Foundation provides grassroots grants to encourage and support people like me and Karen who want to create and strengthen bonds between neighbors and communities. Oh my God, this is us.
If Griffin and I had a stronger bond, he would call me Mom instead of Karen.
Okay, well, you could talk to them about this. So if you've got an idea to improve, enhance, or revitalize your community or neighborhood, visit calgaryfoundation.org to find out more about the Foundation's grant opportunities, and you can visit the Calgary Foundation's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube channel, and sometimes they share our podcast a little bit.
And you can also improve your community by calling your mommy Mom.
Tell me your dreams over bacon and eggs. We'll share a laugh and a story and even a wish on the breakfast dish.
Good morning, everyone. Listeners, friends, families, strangers. I was just watching hilarious House of Frightenstein, and if you remember that, if you're as old as I am, the professor on that show always used to have the weirdest introductions. Well, hello, everybody, friends, family, parents, strangers, loved ones, inners, outers. I never knew what he was talking about, so that's what I'm introducing today. Good morning to all those people and my son, Griffin Cork. My son, who hosts this podcast with me, Karen Johnson-Diamond. How are you, Griffin Cork?
Good morning.
Why? Oh, are you being a character? Okay, hold on.
This heat, it has changed me.
Listen, ain't it awful, the heat? Ain't it awful?
Sorry, madam. Are you trying to do my accent, or are you doing a different accent?
No, you be French and I'll be Yonkers. Is it Yonkers?
I will. I think you were kind of Bronxy, but I guess if you want to get specific, well, I'm happy that you recognize that mine was French, because I really hope Jane McFarlane doesn't listen to this episode, because she helped me with my French accent, and I always kind of goof it. And
I'm trying to figure out why you went French, because
I did not want our podcast to come to the point where we talk about the weather, but the heat wave, it has made me nihilistic.
I wish that our listeners could see the fact that you're smoking a pen while you're being French.
Well, I'm not. Listen, my landlord will get pissed if I light up a ciggy.
It's true. But listen, ink is not good for your lungs, honey. Mommy says so.
Wow, Mom. You really were the child of a registered nurse. What do we do on The Breakfast Dish, Karen?
Well, listen.
You ink lung, ink heart. Is that a book series, Ink Heart? Wasn't it Deep Fantasy or something? Anyway, Karen,
our guest is nodding. Okay, so let's hurry up and get to her.
What we also didn't tell our lovely guest is that she's also welcome to
jump in at any point.
We always forget.
I'm choking on my laughter right now.
And I'm choking on ink. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
And I'm choking on my bad Bronx accent. Listen, on The Breakfast Dish, which is an offshoot from the Breakfast series, we like on this particular podcast
an offshoot. I like that. We're a spin-off.
We're a sequel.
Whoa.
It's like Joey got his own episode after Friends. Did he?
Wait, didn't he?
I think he did, and I think it was a failure.
It was a total failure, but I think he got like one season.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, so we're not Joey from Friends. We're like...
We're not. We're Monica.
So on this podcast, we talk to people who are producing any form of art in Alberta that is accessible during stay away from each other times. And I understand. It's July the 3rd. We are recording this 2 days after the world opened up in Alberta. Apparently no one else but Kenny wanted to be first. So...
Kenny's awesome. Way to go, Ken. Way to go, Ken.
Ken. Call him Ken. There's still a lot of art that is happening online or socially distanced, outside, etc. But there is actually stuff starting to happen indoors with teeny tiny audiences. But that's what we're going to do. We're going to highlight and amplify all the art that's happening in Alberta right now.
All of it right now.
Right now. Just a
Activate.
second. And also, Brown Cow Collective is producing hair in Olds, Alberta, and here to tell us about it, Cindy Ansah is here from Brown Cow Collective. She is a choreographer on hair. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning. Oh, this has been so lovely. You all have very silken voices. I can see why you've chosen the podcast route. So congratulations on that.
Wow.
No.
Even the French in the Bronx part, are you sure?
You know what? I'm just going to choose to forget about that and move on.
That's for the best. Yeah. And listeners, we ask the same of you. Please stay with us.
No one has ever called my voice silken, ever. My theater teacher in college said that my voice could knock a buzzard off a shit wagon. That's what he said to me. So,
really?
Yeah, he was.
And where is he now?
Lethbridge.
That's right. What the fuck is he doing?
He didn't. Actually, it wasn't him. I can't remember where I heard that. I usually say that my voice can knock a buzzard off a shit wagon. He said to me that I sounded like I was a Fargo person. He said that I always sounded like that. Sounded like this. Well, I did do Fargo. You're right.
So good.
He said, "This is my impression of your voice, Karen. Gar stars. That's a gorgeous farmal. You be wiring to the farmal in the barn."
That's not an okay thing for a teacher to say. Can I jump in and say that's kind of bogus?
Honey, it was the 80s. And also, I loved him. He could say anything to me.
And they could smoke indoors. Jealous.
Right? While they were teaching us. Anyway, Cindy.
Hello.
Breathe in.
Tell us about yourself first. Tell us 3 things about you that you find completely interesting that nobody else knows about.
Oof. Nobody knows? Well, I think, what I find interesting about, I'm like, I've told the world all my secrets. Not quite. So an interesting fact about me is that I used to, when I was born and raised in Toronto, that's where I'm from, I had a pet bunny named Bugs Bunny because that was like my favorite cartoon growing up. Interesting fact number 2.
I'm sorry I stuck you with this.
Yeah, we'll need to explain the original breakfast series to justify why.
Okay, let's hear these first though. Let's do 2 more things.
I got glasses in grade 5, and now it's iconic. My glasses are like a trademark. So hey, I built my brand when I was young. So I'm basically an entrepreneur. I would say so.
Mom, I'm going to junior high school. I need brand management. Get on my social medias.
Interesting fact number 3. Every single person in my family is born in July, like my immediate family, except for my sister, who's born in November. Oh my gosh, she's not going to listen to this.
Oh my Lord.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Cut that part out, Griffin.
Yeah, you're right. Well, yeah, see, because the 4th question is your family going to listen to this podcast? Because
not now. I'll just...
Man.
Oof. Let's you know what?
You shouldn't. Guys, don't worry about it. You should even check it out. Don't please.
You know what? Cindy meant my sister. I'm born in September, and my sister's born in November. And so she just got those confused. But Cindy's sister obviously was born in November. Everybody knows that. And of course, everyone knows your sister, whose name is Teresa, Deborah, Brenda, Darcy, Darla.
Are you still going on the one name? Or
like 5 names.
Couple choices.
I'll just continue saying names till I get it right. Marie,
all hyphenated.
Kim, Maureen, Sandy, Lisa, Loretta. No.
I don't know if this is the right system.
Bonus interesting fact. All of my siblings and I are named after like icons. So my brother, his name is Denzel Washington. Whitney Houston. Amazing. Cindy Lauper. And, I was a little salty about that because, my 2 siblings got, like, lovely black icons. And I'm like, what happened? Was there just, Anyways, I've moved on. Clearly, I've moved on because I'm bringing it up right now. So clearly, I have no...
No, what's good is that we can all tell that you've moved on. And that's good.
Exactly.
And also, girls just want to have fun.
And I'm having fun.
Yeah, I'm having fun. Griffin? Sorry, you're not having fun.
No, I am a different man now after 38 degrees Celsius. I smoke ballpoint pens. I am not the same man I was. God, Jane, if you're listening to this episode, I'm so sorry.
The reason I'm asking you this is because when the breakfast series started, which was just me going out with people for breakfast and then posting about who they are on Facebook and introducing them to the rest of the world in case they didn't know them, because apparently I have the entire world on Facebook. But I just like meeting people I don't know and finding things about them and then sticking it on Facebook for all the world to read. Anyway, that's why I asked you 3 things that nobody would know about you. But the one thing we do know about you is that you are a choreographer for a production of Hair. Yes. Start at the beginning and tell us everything.
Well, it started with a outdoor performance, actually, that was going on in Mohkinstsis, Calgary. I was performing just at a live venue, a very casual setup. And apparently Ryan was there. I didn't see him in the audience, but apparently he was there, or so he says. And he saw me performing. And he reached out to me shortly after asking if I wanted to be a choreographer for Hair the Musical. And I was like, whoa, what's happening here? And so after a few phone conversations and overcoming a lot of self-doubt and imposter syndrome, I was like, you know what? This is going to be a fun ride. And I thought Ryan was so talented. You do the obligatory, Instagram, social media stalking of the person. And I was like, okay, Ryan seems legit. So I decided, like, why not? Let's go for it. And it's been absolutely wild and fun and inspiring ever since.
Did I miss this? What was the production you were doing outside in Calgary that Ryan saw or pretended he saw?
It was
We're really going in on Ryan, but man, his Instagram's on point.
His Instagram. I'm telling y'all.
He was doing brand management since grade 3.
Seriously. It was just a improvisational performance. That's actually the first time I collaborated with Misha Maseka, who is the music director. We were doing kind of like a duet. She was doing spoken word and I was dancing to her beautiful lyrical text.
I love that. Okay, can I just back up? Just side note, Alison Zwazdeski once danced to Griffin's spoken word poem and it blew my mind. Griffin wrote a spoken word poem called Standing By, and Alison Zwazdeski danced to it at a fundraiser, and I could just cry. It made me so happy.
Griffin, you're a poet.
I wrote that one a long time ago. I think I wrote it as my grade 12 graduation speech, I think is why I originally wrote it. Right? Mom? Help.
I don't know. Did you give a speech at graduation?
Help. No, help. Help, there's a heat wave. Help. Fix the world. Fix the world. Fix the housing market.
It was after grade 12 because I worked with Allison and met Allison long after you graduated grade 12.
It was there was edits maybe, but it was my gap year because I was interning at ATP.
You go ahead and you edit this episode, son, but I might just find that recording that Dowie made and stick it on the end of the episode.
Karen, you're holding a knife. I'm sorry. You're right. I give up.
I want to back up on something else you said, Cindy. Hair the musical. Is there a Hair that isn't the musical?
It's a movie.
Wait, was it a movie first?
No, I think it was a musical first. Oof, I hope I'm not lying. I'm new in this world, this musical theater world.
My only exposure to Hair is when half of my grade 12 class did one of the numbers, and it was the one where they shout Hair the most.
Oh, that one.
I don't know the name of the song, but the chorus is, I think they shout Hair 12 times.
You will not believe what the name of the song is. It's actually like...
it's called Low Prices on Whole Wheat Bread.
That's exactly it. How did you know?
Wow, thanks. I actually composed it. Is it called Hair?
It's called Hair.
Perfect. So we should probably back this up, and we should maybe get a summary of what Hair is
okay,
about.
back up one more thing, though. There is a non-musical version of Hair. Like, there is a stage play that's not musical of Hair.
I just say Hair the Musical. That's probably not what it's called. I think it is only a musical.
I think you're right. But you know what? What do I know? I was going to do one musical in Calgary, and it's only because I was going to play Neil Diamond, because my voice could knock a buzzard off a shit wagon, and then it got canceled. So
as could Neil Diamond's. Hi, this is mine and Karen Johnson's Neil Diamond Review podcast. The solitary man could kill any bird.
This is the moment where Karen drops Neil Diamond into every podcast. Okay, tell us about Hair. What is the history of Hair? What's the storyline of Hair?
Well, Hair the Musical, it's like, it's a love rock musical. And it was made in I believe the late 70s or 60s. It came about in that time. during, the hippie revolution, and there is, the war going on, and there's, Vietnam, and there's just a lot of charged energy in terms of civil rights ideologies, racism and, white supremacist ideals. So there's a lot going on in the headspace of the youth during the time. And the music kind of speaks to that and amplifying the varying perspectives of the passion and the charged energy is the best way I can put it. Because when I listen to the music, I see passion, or I hear passion, and I feel passion. And it's about being outspoken and being different and loving who you are, and diversity and the complexities and nuance with coming into your own self and speaking your truth. I feel very honored to be part of that journey and that message. And it's exhilarating. It's been exhilarating to see the performers themselves even exploring that depth in the show.
That was just plain lovely. Seriously. Like, you ask somebody about a show and sometimes they go, well, there's a guy with sharp teeth and he bites people's neck. But that was such a nice description of a show. I was just mesmerized by that.
I'll never ask you about Dracula ever.
It's because I was just watching Hilarious House of Frightenstein. That's why. That's beautiful. Is Ryan directing or producing or both? Or is he in it?
Ryan is the producer. He is also a performer, a very, very talented performer. I am in awe of Ryan. Whether he came to the show or not, he's a talented performer. And
God,
he's
we're going to find
excellent.
out.
He's in the show as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. A lot of fans.
That's the theater community in Calgary is, oh my God, Ryan Maschke. Everybody's talking about Ryan Maschke. If Ryan Maschke doesn't know that, then stop listening, Ryan Maschke, because your head's going to get too big. But I hope that people are going to head out to Olds to see you. All the people in the show, and see your work, Cindy. Who's the other choreographer again?
My partner in this endeavor is Stephanie Jakova Abaco. We met during our undergrad at the University of Calgary. We both underwent the BFA in dance program, and we just clicked, and we almost do every single dance creative endeavor together. And so when I told her I was doing hair, she was like, how can I get myself into this situation? And so Ryan so generously was like, you can have a friend, a buddy. And originally she was supposed to be a choreographic assistant, but the way we both work, we're just so equally invested in everything we do, and our ideas bounce off one another, that I was like, we're co-choreographers in this journey. And it's been so, I don't think I could have done it without Stephanie. She's been so vital to the choreographic generation and the creative ideas that we're coming off. And I'm just so proud of what we made together and how the dancers are feeling. And I love movement, and I love dance, and I love collaboration. So it was really exciting to get to do it with her. But on the way of the director, it's not Ryan. It's actually Sabrina Naz-Kamenescu, who's also a Mohkinstsis-based dancer. And she's absolutely phenomenal. I've been looking up to her for quite a while. So finding out that she was also in the creative team, in addition to Tanaj Williams, I was like, oh my goodness, all the folks.
I didn't know Tanaj was doing it.
Yeah, providing assistance to our director, Sabrina.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. You're in a dream team.
It's been great.
Okay.Maybe I want to cut this part out, Griff. I don't know.
Okay. Well, then you don't have to.
Well, because I'm going to ask it, but then it's not a stupid question. It's an always asked question. There is an element of nudity in Hair the Musical, but I have seen productions where they have foregone that element, and I've seen productions where they have followed that element to the ninth. Who's your target audience? That's a better question. Ooh. Who's your target audience?
I would say mature audiences. That being said, it is a fun show, but mature audiences indeed. On the way of nudity, there isn't, or is there? I'm trying to entice the audiences with this. Is there or is there not?
I love it. It's working.
So I think you'd have to see the show to find out. I mean, if it's late at night, things can happen on Olds.
Okay. It's a beautiful show. And it's one of those shows, people are just like, oh, the nudity is gratuitous. And I'm like, no, it's not. In this show, it's absolutely not. But I saw it at Stage West.
Oh.
Where there wasn't any nudity because the audience there wouldn't have appreciated that, I don't think. That particular time, which was years ago.
Are you sure? Interesting.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that the audience at Stage West at that time might have had a problem with that. Because that was about 3 years before... No, it was about 3 years after I did Noises Off at Stage West. Are you familiar with Noises Off, Cindy?
No, I'm not.
So it's a farce. It's a play within a play. So the concept of the play is these people are putting on a play and everything goes wrong. So one of the characters in the play is the director who's directing the cast on stage. So the play starts with a scene in a British home. And then the director from the back yells, cut. And then he comes on stage. And then we find out who all these people are and why they're doing this play and what their connections are. We should
clarify. You say he comes from the back. In your production, did he come from the house?
The back of the audience. Yes. Sorry. From the back. It's usually a director from the back of the house. And I've seen this play. I've done it a number of times. I love it. And the concept is quite easy to understand. As soon as Lloyd, the director, gets on stage and everyone calls him Lloyd, and we're all talking about how we open in 3 days, it's really obvious that we are playing the part of actors putting on a play. Anyway, the audience at Stage West wrote letter after letter after letter of complaint to Stage West saying, if the show wasn't ready, you shouldn't have started it. Why was the director still working with the actors?
What?
At that time, for that space, that was a new concept for a show. So 3 years later, doing hair on that stage, I believe that they were taking into mind
I see.
the theater education level of their audience. There's, you go to theater all the time and you're quite intellectual about it. And then there's, I know hockey is sticks and pucks, right? That's how I am on sportsing. So I think that audience, anyway, what a long story.
That was a very interesting story. No. That was very...
We had to change it so that Doug McCaig, who was playing the director, had to do a pre-show chat. So before the show every night, he'd come out and go, hi, I'm Doug McCaig. I'm an actor. In this play, there's a play being rehearsed, and I play the director. So if you hear me talking to the actors about their bad acting, they're actually bad acting on purpose. Okay, bye.
I have a question, Cindy, about choreographing is something that I know very, very, very little about. And something that I'm always interested in when a choreographer comes into a production is, and it might be different for every kind of person, but what kind of homework do you do in terms of the text and the song and the music, anything in terms of past productions? Are there certain moves that go with certain, I don't know, flash dance have certain moves that go with certain productions? Right. Is there anything? Yeah. Tell us about I hate this question. Tell us about your process.
I would love to tell you about my process. Typically, I work with music accompaniment quite a bit, but usually I work from movement first. So whether that's task-based work, giving my dancers imagery to make movement off of, or I very rarely actually, in my creative process, because I'm a contemporary-based dancer, I do some West African dance styles here and there, but my dance style is rooted in contemporary dance. And very rarely do I come with preset choreography, teach it on dancers, make them rehearse it over and over again, put it on stage. It's really actually coming from the dancers first. So that's, this word choreographer is a little tough for me because I'm everything I make is essentially co-choreographed.
Cool.
Coming into hair was very different because I was okay, very music-based. I have to present the choreography. I'm the one giving a lot of offers to the dancers to embody. And so Steph and I, essentially, we would listen to the tracks and we wrote down kind of words or qualities, actually, that the songs inspired. So, for example, Aquarius, we thought, okay, very fluid movement, very supple, undulations, waves, suspension. These were the words that were coming up for us. And we essentially did that for every single song. And then from there, it was a back and forth. Let's try this move. Okay, that kind of sucked. That was not very great. Let's try something else. And we were just very non-judgmental about, even though I just said that sucked, we were very non-judgmental about each other's offers. And it was really a dialogue, essentially having a conversation. So teaching the dancers the movement, we did it all on Zoom. On the way of homework, I actually attended the table reading sessions, even though it wasn't mandatory for myself as a choreographer. I really wanted to see how the performers were, I guess, coming into their characters, because that also influences how they move. Persona, characterization is all of the body and in the body. And so I thought that to be a very vital part of the movement generation process. And I think Tanaj was absolutely brilliant. I think he has a wealth of knowledge, and everything he was saying, I was like, gotta write it down. And it was really informative to what we created. And so teaching it over Zoom actually went surprisingly well, with the exception of like lefts and rights here and there, because I'd come to rehearsal and they'd be like, is it a right or a left? I'm like, it's going to change every single time. But we got there in the end, and it looked so beautiful. I think the toughest part about Zoom choreo is there's a focus on shape first rather than feeling first, because it's a screen and you're like, okay, got to get the shapes, got to get the movement. But it took us a bit of time to find the feeling of the movement, the persona of the movement, the essence of the movement. And so that was the only downfall of Zoom rehearsals. But overall, it went way better than I expected, actually.
Did you find a tip in teaching Zoom choreography that you would like pass on to somebody else?
The dancers, because they're basically dancers. They're triple threats at this point. They really enjoyed seeing the movement from the back. So a lot of times I had to perform it away from them for them to get it. And also there's a setting on Zoom, if you're using music, that you can like share your audio. That actually doesn't work very well because there's always lag. So it's actually better to play it off a separate device, like your music, like a phone or a separate laptop if you so have, and play the music from there. And it's better in terms of syncing up sound and movement. Everything was a canon, essentially. I was like, okay, this is a canon. This is great. We'll work on it.
Let me ask you if there is one, either dance number or dance move that you go, that's some of the best stuff I've ever done. Like just like one section where you go, I kind of killed it here.
Okay. I love this question. Okay, this is so funny because we actually choreographed this dance number last, but I absolutely love Walking in Space. I think just the way we shaped it, the way the dancers perform it, they even said it was like the most connected they felt in any of the dance numbers. And I think Walking in Space is, the song just is absolutely gorgeous. And so I love Walking in Space as a whole, that whole thing. Like, I'm going to hype myself up because, and Stephanie, of course. Do it. It's Hell great. Yeah. It's great. But I think also there's one, the chorus of Donna is also pretty spectacular. I really enjoy that.
I feel like I'm like sticks and pucks with hockey when it comes to hair, because I know Hair musical. I've seen it a bunch of times, but I think Aquarius and Hair, and I cannot think of these other two songs you're mentioning.
All the more reason to come see the show.
Yeah,
yes,
you got to
exactly.
come see the show then, Karen.
Griff, you have to come with me. We'll make a date. I don't mean to go into brass tacks. I just want to clarify something. I mean, we can go into brass tacks, but
hey, we're here now. Let's do it.
Okay, here we are. Brass tacks. Where do people see it? Is it in person? Yes, it is. It's in person and socially distanced? Yes? Okay, tell me all of that.
So the audience seating is socially distanced, but the performers are actually not socially distanced. There are moments of contact and connection, which is actually really encouraging to see. And I think it will add to kind of the spectacular and the wonder of the show. But the location is Mashke Farms. Our very own Ryan Mashke provided his lovely home with his family on the farm. Yes, it's a very beautiful scene. You might hear some animals. It adds to the aura of the environment, which is lovely. From July 3rd to 18th, you can come watch it at 8:30 p.m.
Man, that chicken is really breaking it down back there. Hair.
It's actually the cows. The cows are the most vocal animals on the farm. And the dogs.
I'd buy that. I'd 100% buy that.
It's an outdoor show, or is it a covered?
It is outdoor. We do have some lovely tents because it does get hot, but it's in the evening. So, but it is outdoors. So you'll have the air. You'll have the air and just the space to kind of be with everyone and see all the people.
And what about rain? Does rain affect it?
If the rain gets really bad, we will have to cancel the show, but there will be notice provided. It is a rainy week, so we are a little nervous about that, but I trust that the show will go on and it will be amazing.
Do you know where to, and we'll put all the necessary links in the podcast description below for all of our listeners, but do you know where to go to buy tickets and also how much they are? You'll
be able to find it on Eventbrite. Pricing, I believe, is between $25. There's like individual and group tickets that you can buy, so the price is actually within a range.
Got it.
But it is on Eventbrite. You'll be able to find it on social media pages. There's a Facebook, there's an Instagram with all those details.
And maps with directions, probably.
And maps with directions, indeed.
Well, here's the direction of the breakfast dish, because I have to pop in and say that the breakfast dish is part of the Alberta Podcast Network, locally grown, community supported. The intro music you just heard and the outro music you're about to hear is by Alexandra Cowman. All graphic design for the breakfast dish has been done by Morgan Ermter. Karen, what is coming up?
I just like listening to your silken voice, and I forgot to open this part.
Silken. Silken, for some reason, makes me think of Elven.
Makes me think of Harry Potter. Wasn't there a character? Wasn't there a character in Harry Potter called Silken?
Are you thinking of Filch?
No. Anyway, doesn't matter.
No.
Listen.
I know Filch.
Listen, I want to tell you about this.
I'm talking about Professor Silken.
There is. Isn't there, or is there an actor named Silken?
There's a Severus
No,
name.
maybe there's an actress named Silken. Somebody write into us, thebreakfastdish@gmail.com. Tell us who I'm thinking of, because I'm too old to remember.
So there is a Harry Potter fan fiction called Silken. Silken, a Harry Potter fan fiction, which we should not get into. But also on harrypotter.fandom.com, they have a page for silk, the textile silk in Harry Potter. And it starts with, silk is a natural fiber, some forms of which can be woven into textiles. Why is that on the Harry Potter wiki? Why is that is there magic silk? Anyway, sorry, Harry Potter.
Okay. Speaking of silk, here's my segue for that. If you like the sound of silken instrumental music, then you should go on Friday nights to the Blue Chair Cafe in Edmonton, 9624 76th Avenue, Edmonton, Alberta. Every Friday starting at 5:30, they have what they put on their site, which is great. Whenever possible, musicians will be on our stage playing for donations or cover. For now, they will be instrumentalist, as singing is still not allowed, but that might change soon. So, weekend listening. Here's what you can experience. Friday evening, Jamie Filch. Saturday evening, Rooster Davis.
Jamie Filch?
Filch.
Just kidding. Little Harry Potter joke. All right.
And Saturday evening, Rooster Davis. Rooster like on the Mashke farm. And Sunday
Nice.
brunch, you can listen to Michael Campbell, Campbell's Soup in nuts. Nuts, and never mind.
Michael, I'm so sorry we tarnished your name like that. Cream of mushroom, I'm so sorry.
Also, July 18th, We Lit Calgary, Alberta's only Afro-Indie book fair, showcases a variety of Black authors and their works while providing authors an environment to engage with their readers. Showtime is 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. in person, Calgary Central Public Library, 800 3rd Street, Southeast. That's what else is happening.
Cindy, thank you very much for joining us on The Breakfast Dish.
It was such a pleasure. I think this was like an excellent way to start my day. You all are fantastic and so much fun.
Good.
So thank you for having me.
How we like to wrap up The Breakfast Dish is Karen is a professional improviser and will ask you a question that we did not prep that might have something to do with hair or Brown Cow Collective or Roosters or Campbell Soup. Maybe not. Here we go. 3, 2, 1.
If you and Stephanie were going to make breakfast for the entire cast and crew of Hair, and since your brains are connected, what thing would you both think to feed them?
I think that we would have waffles. Like waffles and pancakes and syrup, because I mean that's like the most elite breakfast ever. I think you can't go wrong.
No.
It's true.
Like waffles are just like a second version of pancakes, so it's almost like art. Waffles are art.
Everyone else shut up. Everyone else shut up. Waffles are art. Yeah. The podcast is ending right now, and I want the phrase waffles are art to echo in your goddamn mind. All right, everyone sit with this. Goodbye, everybody.
Bop, 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 bop.
This episode of The Breakfast Dish is brought to you by Park Power, your friendly local utilities provider in Alberta, offering internet, electricity and natural gas with low rates, awesome service, and profit sharing with local charities.
Local charities, is that you?
Am I a local charity?
You're a 24-year-old in your own apartment.
All right, listen. In Alberta, you get to choose who to buy your internet and electricity and natural gas from. And if you choose Park Power, you're choosing a positive local business. They're local.
Shop local.
You have to shop local. Plus, Park Power shares its profits with local non-for-profits, which is, I think, a great deal. And because those non-for-profits are looking to make a difference for their communities. And shopping local is very important to Park Power's owner, Chris Kozowski. And we love local here at the Alberta Podcast Network, so it's a great fit.
Do you think that the Park Power owner, Chris Kozowski, picked a double P because his name has a double K?
Yes. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we'll confirm that. Chris, let us know.
Where we can confirm it is where you can also learn more, which is at parkpower.ca.
This has been The Breakfast Dish.